All right, notice with our slope fields, we get a bunch of zeros here. We get zeros when x is 0, and we get zeros when y is 1. Which should make sense if you look at our equation, right? If x is 0, it's going to make this whole equation 0. If y is 1, makes this 0, which would make the whole equation equal to 0. Now, we can kind of tie this in a little bit with question B. Part B asks us, while the slope field in Part A is drawn at only 12 points, it's defined at every point in the xy plane. So no matter what point we choose to put in, we're going to get a slope out. Describe all the points in the xy plane for which the slopes are positive. So we're going to figure out, or describe when are the slopes positive. We can kind of look at what we have here. Obviously, it's not everything, but we can see we have all of these zeros, and then up here we have positives. We have positives over here, but then negatives down here. Well, if we look at our equation, what's going to happen no matter what we put in for x? This part right here is always going to be positive, right? Since it's being squared, we're going to get a positive number, except for when what? What's the only time we wouldn't get a positive number out of this? When x is 0, right? So we know x cannot equal 0. So that's going to be part of our description. If x is 0, we're not going to get a positive answer. Right? But at any other x value, it doesn't matter. We're going to get positive, at least for this part. So if this is always going to be positive, except for this situation, then this right here would have to be positive too, right? Because positive times a positive gives us positive. If this were negative, the whole thing would be negative. So we need this to be positive also. So we want to know, when is y minus 1 greater than 0, right? It can't be 0 either, because that'll make the whole thing 0. It has to be positive. So it's going to be positive when y is greater than 1. And that kind of makes sense from what we see here, right? When it's above 1, the slopes are positive. Of course, we only have a few examples of that. But if we kept going, any y value bigger than 1 is going to give us a positive number times this positive number. And down here, anything less than 1 is going to give us a negative value, right? Because that's going to make this negative times this. So these are our two kind of stipulations. The slope will be positive as long as x does not equal 0 and y is greater than 1.